Dear students, hopefully you are safe and sound. I am Siddhartha Shankar, an assistant professor in English in Government Horoganga College, Munshiganj. It is the continuation of my previous discussion. Therefore, it is the second consecutive class on right form of verb. Today, please be prepared to practice some more important rules on right form of verb. And today, at the very beginning, I am giving focus on conditional sentences. And this is very important for you because to answer right form of verb, it is very important to learn. And at the same time, there are some more grammatical items like completing sentence and using special words and phrases. In that case also, we have to learn conditional with same importance. So, what is conditional? Conditional are basically complex sentences in where there is a condition, and these express what happens or what might happen or what could happen or what could have happened. Therefore, there is certain condition in these sentences. Of course, these are complex sentences, therefore the conditional sentences have two clauses. One is subordinate clause, the another is principal clause, and the incident of the principal clause actually depends on the condition of subordinate clause, and these conditions are indicated by some conjunctions, and those conjunctions are if, provided, providing, unless, etc. So let's go through some example. See, if you study hard, you will perform well. So at the beginning there is a condition. The subordinate clause is if you study hard, and the result is you will perform well. So there is a condition here. See the second sentence. I will meet him provided he meets me. Provided is there, and this also refers to a condition. I will not set out providing it rains. If rain comes, I will not go out. So there is a condition here in this sentence. We have used the condition conjunction providing in this sentence. I will not set out unless he comes. So these are the sentences where there are some conditions. And for conditionals, you know, we have some set grammatical rules, and there is no alternative of these rules. So we have to learn this rule very carefully. Now let's discuss about the classification of conditionals. In English, we face four types of conditionals. The first one is zero conditional, the second one is first conditional, third one is second conditional, and the fourth one is third conditional. Let's discuss on zero conditional. What is zero conditional? Zero conditionals basically express universal truth and habitual facts. Actually, this is factual conditional, and it expresses one's habit, it expresses the truth, the facts, and it is obvious. If we go through the examples, we will able to understand. And there is, before going to the structure, let's know the structure of zero conditional. As you know that in conditional sentences are actually complex sentence, and in a complex sentence we have two clauses. One is principal clause, the other is subordinate clause. So in these conditional sentences we will also have two clauses. One is if clause, where the indicator of condition is the conjunction is added, if clause, and this is subordinate clause. The other one is principal clause. And in the case of zero conditional, we use the both the clauses in present indefinite tense, as this the zero conditional refers to universal truth, habitual fact. So this cannot be in other tenses. These will be only in present indefinite tense. So see the example. If the sun rises, fog disappears. This is truth. So the if clause or the subordinate clause is in present indefinite tense, and the principal clause fog disappears, this one is also in present indefinite tense. Both the verb forms are in present indefinite tense. So keep in mind, whenever we form any zero conditional, we will use present indefinite tense in the both clauses. See the second example. If Jamal doesn't sleep, he gets angry. So this is his habit. Whenever he can't sleep, he gets angry. Let's see the third example. If you cut your leg, blood comes out. Blood, here in the bracket we have used come. So what is the answer? You know it easily because this is natural. If you cut your leg or finger, blood comes out. This is natural. So we will use present tense in the both clauses. Let's see the fourth example. The members of a family remain anxious if someone in the bracket trouble in a bus. So you see this is very natural. The family members will remain anxious if someone of their family is on a journey. So therefore I think you know the answer. Hopefully you can comment it in the comment box what will be the answer. So this is basically zero conditional, and you know in a zero conditional the in the subordinate clause you see the if is there, and this if or unless or providing that this can be replaced by when. For example, if you go through the first example again, if the sun rises, fog disappears. Here we can also use when as a conjunction. When the sun rises, fog disappears. So in the zero conditional basically we can form these sentences with when also, but if in the examination these sentences come with the conjunction if, we will answer following this rule. Let's move to the second rule. The second one is second conditional. The second one is first conditional. First conditional, here we will find a little bit difference, because here in the if clause or in the subordinate clause there is a condition, and in the principal clause there is ultimate result of it. So here the structure is also different. Here in the subordinate clause we will use present indefinite tense, and in the principal clause we will use will, can, may, and then present form of the verb, because you know will, can, may, these are modal verbs. After modal verbs we always use verb 1. There is another example. Dear students, in my previous lecture on right form of verb I have already discussed on the use of passive forms as a right form of verb. You know, when the subject is inactive or the subject doesn't do the function of the verb, in that case we take help of the be verb and write the past participle form of the verb. So that is the use of passive form. So here in this case also, if you find that the subject is inactive, in that case we will use will be, can be, or may be, and then we will use the past participle form of the verb. So therefore the second conditionals have actually two structures. If you see that when the subject is active or the subject is inactive, the if clause or the subordinate clause is always in present indefinite tense, and the principal clause, in the principal clause we will use will, can, may plus verb 1, or will be, can be, or may be plus verb 3 if the subject is inactive. So here you see in the second conditional there is the principal clause depends on the incident of the subordinate clause. Let's go through some examples. The first one you see, road accidents can be lessened if the drivers drive their vehicles carefully. So here in the example you see the subordinate clause has been used at the end of the sentence, at the second part of the sentence, and the first one is principal clause. So you see the second one or the subordinate clause is in present indefinite tense. So in the principal clause we will use can be, shall be or will be, because this is not universal truth or habitual fact, but here the fact is if the drivers drive their vehicles carefully, the road accident will be lessened or it will be minimized. So here you see, here the road accidents is the subject, therefore subject is inactive, because road accident cannot happen without any reason. It is occurred by someone. Who are they? They are drivers. Actually drivers occurs road accident. Therefore here we see the road accidents is the passive subject, therefore we have used can be, and then we will use the past participle form of the verb. I think from discussing the first example you will be able to answer the rest examples. See the second one. To err is human. If a man commits crime anytime and repents truly for his misdeed, he may forgive. If a man, here if is the subordinate clause, if a man commits crime, so here you see the present indefinite tense has been used. So in the second clause we will use can, could, may plus verb 1, but if the subject is inactive, do you think here the subject is active or inactive? He may forgive. You see, who will forgive him? He himself will forgive him? No, only God or only Allah, only the Almighty can forgive us. Therefore here we will use the passive form, and therefore the answer is he may be forgiven. Number 3 you see, if all the children of Bangladesh go to school, the country will get rid of the curse of illiteracy. The country will get rid, see this second clause should be kept in your notice, because from the second clause or in the clause where there is no dash or there is no exercise, from there you will get the clue. So in the second clause you see the verb has been used in future indefinite tense, therefore the first one or the subordinate clause will be in present indefinite tense. And what will be the answer? I think you can guess and you can write in the comment box. So I think the use of first conditional will be quite easy for you and will be able to answer. Now let's move to the discussion of second conditional. In the second conditional you see, okay, let's read the example first. What is the example 1? If I had a light, I would or could or might see you. Suppose I would see you. If I had a light, I would see you. So this is somehow unreal. I had a light. This has been used in past. At that time most probably you didn't have light with you and you couldn't see anybody. Therefore it is unreal and it is of course hypothetical, and it didn't happen. Therefore these sentences are almost unreal conditional, improbable conditional. Here we can say that these are actually improbable. This didn't happen. So in this case what do we use? In this case the structure is the subordinate clause is always in past indefinite tense, and the principal clause that will be in that clause we will use the past form of modal will, can and might, and that is would, could and might. And of course after would, could and might, we will use the present form of the verb. So therefore the structure is, the subordinate clause is in past indefinite tense, and in the principal clause after the subject we will use would, could or might and the present form of verb. Okay, so in this case also, if you find the subject is inactive in any clause, you will use the passive form of the verb, and in that case the we will use would be, could be or might be, and then past participle form of the verb. So let's read another unreal example. Here you see number 2. If I had a computer, I would play games on it. The fact is that you don't have a computer right now. Therefore, you are telling to your friend or your classmate that if I had a computer, I would play games on it. But the reality is that you don't have it. Therefore, this is unreal past and this is improbable. Number 3, you see, if I had a computer, the games would be, could be or might be played on it. So therefore you see, in this sentence we have used would be because games is the inactive subject and this should be held by auxiliaries, and here be verb has been used. I think it is clear to you now. Number 4, let's see. If I went there, the problem solved. What is the answer? Here you see, if I went there, number 4, I, you see, here I has not been written, so we will write here I. If I went there, the problem is an inactive subject, therefore the answer would be might be solved or would be solved or could be solved, because this sentence also belongs to second conditional. Number 3, 4, number 5, 6 and 7, these have some different structure. Though these are different, we haven't used if here, though these are different, but these also indicates conditional, and here also we will follow the pattern of conditional. Sometimes the conditional sentences may start with had, were or should. See the example. Had I a computer, that means if I had a computer, I would play games on it. Or you see, were I a bird, this means if I were a bird. The second clause is I could sing. See the third example. Should you come, seventh example, should you come here, I might see you. So you see, in some cases, in instead of if, unless or provided that, the verb itself can be used at the beginning, and these sentences also belong to conditional sentences. So I think now you will be able to answer the second conditional, you will be able to complete sentences on second conditionals also. Now let's discuss on third conditional. Actually, third conditional sometimes we use while at the time of speaking or at the time of writing, and in some grammatical topics you see this is very important, the third conditional. But this is totally unreal, and the both of the clauses will be mentioned in the past form, and these hadn't happened at all, and there was no possibility of happening it also. So see what is there, and it is actually some depends on our imagination. We are imagining that what could happen if this happened, if this incident took place, what could happen. This totally depends on imagination. So third conditional actually some imaginary activities, we express our imaginary activities. So let's see. Here also you will find two clauses, and the subordinate clause or the where the if or unless is used that clause will be in past perfect tense. And in the principal clause we will use after subject shall have, will have, would have, could have, might have, and then past participle form of verb. So the first clause is in past perfect tense, the subordinate clause is in past perfect tense, and the principal clause we will use would have, could have, might have, and then past participle form of the verb. Let's see the example. If I had seen him, I would have talked to him. So what is the meaning of this sentence? The meaning is that you hadn't seen him. If I had seen, you hadn't seen him and you did not talk to him also. But there was a possibility, if you had seen him, you would have talked to him. If you had bought a computer, you would have played games on it. যদি তুমি কম্পিউটার কিনতে, তুমি এখানে খেলতে পারতে, বাট ইউ ডিডন্ট বাই অ্যান্ড you don't have that possibility of playing games on it. So this is totally an imaginary sentence. So let's see the second example. If I had bought a computer, I would have played games on it. Okay, so I think you see, you should carefully study the second conditional and the third conditional, because sometimes our students mingle between these two and they make wrong in the examination. Therefore please be careful here and learn both the structures carefully. And I think seeing the gap, and before the gap or after the gap, there will be the clue, the second, the another clause from the another clause you will get the clue and you will answer accordingly. And in the third conditional also, the sentence can start with had and then subject. That's also referred to conditional, and that is third conditional. And after had we use subject and then past participle form of the verb, past perfect tense. This is past perfect tense. So here you see, had we been there. So this is also a subordinate clause, and this is similar to using if. This actually means if we had been there, we might have seen him. So in the principal clause we have used we might have. Had he studied hard, he, what is the answer? You will use would have, could have, might have, and then past participle form of the verb. So I think you know the answer. If you know the answer, you can write it in the comment box. And the final one, you see, had I a car. The first clause is had I a car. Which tense does it belong to? Is it present perfect, past perfect or past indefinite? You guess and try to answer. I do you, here you can write I help you. In place of do, you use the verb help and then try to answer, and you can comment it in the comment box. So I think now you have a good idea about conditional sentences, and please remember it, and in your everyday life you will face this type of sentences frequently. Therefore you should have a very good idea on conditional sentences. Now we are discussing on another very important verb, that is causative verb, and in the examination also we may face some exercise, some questions on causative verb. So what is causative verb? If you see, okay, let's go through some examples first. See the example. He had a sister bring a glass of water. Here you see, he is the subject. He had her sister bring a glass of water. This means he hasn't brought the glass of water himself, rather her sister has brought the glass of water for him. This means his sister is very much dear to him, and therefore he can tell her to bring glass of water for him. So therefore the speaker or the subject hasn't done the work himself. The another person or another doer is there who has done this work. So therefore positive verb is if you have someone do something for you. You are having someone to do something for you. In English we have several causative verbs, but in very common causative verbs we use, and some very common causative verbs are have, make, let, and get. In the you see get, the get verb I have given one underline. So this has a because this has a different structure, but for have, make, and let we have some similar structure. So what is the structure? The structure of causative verb. Okay, see the first example, and you see the structure at the same time, and therefore you will find the affinity. You see, first at the beginning we have used subject. Subject is he, and then causative verb had. Then agent. Agent means the doer who is doing the work for the subject or the speaker. Here the doer is her sister. Then we use the present form of the verb, and that is bring, and then object, a glass of water. So here you see in the sentence when we use causative verb, there may be the presence of doer or the agent. So when we will find the presence of doer immediate after the causative verb, in that case we will use the present form of verb. Understand? Let's see the second example. She made the street boy clean her shoes. She may be angry with the street boy, and she forced the boy to clean her shoes. So here you see she herself hasn't cleaned her shoes, rather the doer or the agent is there, and here the agent is the street boy, and after here the causative verb is made. So we frequently use that 4 causative verbs, so it will be very easy on your part to recollect these examples or this topic. She made the street boy, and after this we have used the present form of the verb or the base form of the verb. Street boy clean her shoes. But whenever we use get as causative verb, in that case we will use 2 plus verb 1. After the agent we will use 2 plus verb 1. This is the difference between the get and other causatives like have, make, or let. You should remember it. So here you see for get, for the verb get, the structure is subject plus causative verb get. After this we will use the agent, and then 2 plus verb 1, and after this we will use the object or structure. See, I always get my teacher explain my problem. Here we have used the causative verb get, and the doer is there. Doer is my teacher. This is the agent. My teacher is the agent. So after this we will use 2 plus main verb, because here get is the causative verb. So the answer is I always get my teacher to explain my problem. So far we have discussed on the structures that belong to active voice. Here you should remember that when the doer is present immediate after the causative verb, those sentences are called active. Here the sentences are actually active because the doer is there, the agent is there, and the agent will be used immediate after the causative verb. But let's go to the next slide. Sometimes the doer will be absent. In that case we will use the past participle form of the verb. Let's see the example first. Saif had his house painted. Had, is the causative verb. Saif is the subject. After subject we have used the causative verb. His house painted. His house is the object, but who has painted? The doer or the agent is absent here. So in this case we will use the past participle form of the verb. So the structure is subject plus causative verb plus object and then past participle form of the verb. Saif had his house painted. Okay, let's go through some examples, and these examples will make you perfect, I think. So see, I always get my problem explained by my teacher. What will be the verb of the bracket? What will be the right form of the verb in the bracket? You see, the subject, then causative, get, my problem. After get we haven't used any agent or doer. Therefore this is a passive sentence, but the doer has been added at the end of the sentence by the preposition by. This also indicates the form of passive sentences. So here the answer is I always get my problem explained by my teacher. See the second one, I usually have my father buy my books. So do you think there is any agent here? If you think there is any agent, then what would be the answer? You please try to guess and you can write it in the comment box. We always have our document print by our printer. So where is the agent? Agent has been used at the end of the sentence, not immediate after the causative have. So what is the answer? I think from this lecture you already know it. See the now number fourth example. Kolim let his friend borrow his car. So here you see agent is there immediate after the verb let. The let is the causative verb. So here I think you know the answer. The basic form of verb will be used. I got my car fixed. Who will fix? The mechanic will fix. Mechanic is not given. The doer is absent here. Agent is absent here. Therefore the verb will be in past participle form. Number 6, I get the supplier deliver my groceries. So here you see got is the causative verb, supplier is the agent, but for the causative verb get we learned a different structure, and I think using that structure you will complete this one, you will answer this form. What will be the right form of the verb of deliver? Please write it in the comment box. Okay, I think through this discussion on causative verb you had got a well built idea on this type of verbs. Now we will go through another rule, that is the use of as though or as if. As though and as if, basically these two conjunctions have same meaning, and the another is since. Since actually belongs to different genre. Still we will discuss it together, discuss these three items together, because these three conjunctions follow one same rule. Therefore it would be easier on your part to remember it if we discuss the three rules together. So if we find as though, as if or since as a conjunction in the middle of a sentence, we will see in the middle of a sentence it will be used, and these conjunctions will connect two clauses. The first one is principal clause and the second one is subordinate clause. So here we will find two structures. The first structure is this, if we use as though, as if or since as conjunction, the first clause, if we find the first clause in present tense, we will write the second clause in simple past tense. So the structure is the first clause in present tense, then as though, as if or since, then the second clause in simple past tense. For present tense are of four kinds you see, but normally in this case we may use present indefinite tense or present perfect tense. Let's go through the examples. I think examples will make you clear. 3 years have passed, or we can write like it, 3 years, it is 3 years, it is 3 years. So you see 3 years have passed it is in present perfect tense, have plus verb 3, and the it is 3 years, this one in present indefinite tense. So 3 years have passed, or it is 3 years since we pass SSC exam. So what is the answer? The first clause is in present indefinite or present perfect, that means in present tense. Therefore the second clause will be in past indefinite tense or in simple past tense. So the answer is past. See the second example. The man acts as though he be a fool. So here irrespective of subjects of number and person, we will use be verb where for be verb, because this is also unreal use. The man acts as though he be a fool. First one, the first clause is in present indefinite tense. In the second clause we will use past indefinite tense, but if we find be verb in the bracket, we will always use where. So the answer is he were a fool. The second structure is in the first clause or on the principal clause you may find past simple or past indefinite tense. In that case the second one or the second clause will be in past perfect tense. Okay, so see the example. It was long since I see her last. It was long since I see her last. So here the first one is in, please excuse me, please come back to the session. Here you see the first one is in past simple tense. It was long since, simple past tense or past indefinite tense. So the second one or the subordinate clause will be in past perfect tense. The structure of past perfect tense, you know, had plus verb 3. So here the answer is had seen. It was long since I had seen her last. See the second example. You talked as if, talked past indefinite tense, so you know the answer, had no, as if you had known everything. I have done the work since it. So here you see the present indefinite tense has been used in the beginning, in the first clause or in the principal clause. So what is the answer? I think you know, and you please write it in the comment box. Number 4, you see, it has been over 300 years since Emperor Shah Jahan of Delhi built the Taj Mahal as a tomb for his wife in Agra. It has been over 300 years, so the first clause has been written in present perfect tense. Therefore the second clause will be in past indefinite tense, right? So you will give the past indefinite form of the verb build. I think the rule as though, as if and since is clear to you. So dear students, in the 2 classes we have I think completed all the basic rules of right forms of verb. There are some other rules also, but they are not worthy of discussion, or if you think that you need to learn some more rules on right form of verb, you can write your query in the comment boxes, and in my later sessions I will try to discuss on it. But so far my discussion on the rules of right form of verb has been ended, and now it is time for doing some exercise, and what we have learned we will justify. So let's read the exercise here. And you see, in the exercise or in the question script, you will find, you at the beginning you will go through the whole text and you will try to gauge in which tense has been used it, and according to the tense you will try to answer the right form of verbs. So let's read the example. One night the entire village was sleeping. Was sleeping, that is past continuous tense. So there is a here, there is a prediction. We can predict that the whole passages has been written in past form. So here you see, the boy Baizid Bustami was busy in study. His mother sleep. Here we can gauge one adverb of time like this, at that time. So when we find at that time in a sentence, we use past continuous tense. Here at that time is not written, but it is hidden here. His mother was sleeping. Suddenly he woke up, and you see the two clauses are here. The coordinate clause, it is a compound sentence. The first one is in past indefinite tense, simple past tense. The second one, in the second one we usually can use the simple past tense. So the answer is, she woke up and felt thirsty. Call her son. So at the beginning, this is basically a simple sentence, and we use participles to make a complex sentence simple, or instead of relative pronouns we can use also that ing form of the verb. So here the main verb has been used later. She told her son is the main verb, so the first one will be made non-finite verb, and adding ing with a verb we can make the verb non-finite. So the answer is, calling her son, she told her son to give her a glass of water, and so and is there again, and again we will use past indefinite form, that is, and felt asleep again. When Bajid went to the pitcher, you see, this is when has been used. Two clauses are here. One is in past indefinite tense, so the other will be, we can use in past indefinite tense. So the answer is, he found the pitcher. When Bajid went to the pitcher, he found it empty. So we can learn the sequence of tense. Now what is the sequence of tense? If you find the principal clause is in present tense, we can use present tense or future tense in the subordinate clause. But if we find the past tense in the principal clause, the subordinate clause will always be in past tense. This is a general rule of using tenses in complex sentences. So we should remember it in the time of doing right form of verb. After a while he came back with some water and found his mother. Again we will use a participle, sleeping. Then he waited. Again he waited is the verb is given, so the another verb will be made a non-finite verb using ing. Again we will make it a participle, present participle. Standing by her bed with a glass of water. He didn't make any sound lest she woke up. So after lest, in my first discussion I have discussed this rule. After lest we use might or should and the present form of the verb. He didn't make any sound lest she might wake up or she should wake up. Suddenly his mother woke up and saw him with the glass of water. At once she understood what was the matter. Understood because you see the whole text has been written in past form, and this one also be used in past indefinite tense or simple past tense. I think practice will make you perfect. If you go through the board questions or through the test paper, if you practice the question script of different colleges across the country, you will get a very good idea on right form of verb. Here there is another example. You see So here I request you to have a pause and you please try to write the answers, and I think you will be able to answer. If you failed, please give your query in the comment box, or if you can answer it correctly, you please answer it and please write it in the comment box, or you write it in your answer in your script, and you can take a photo and can upload the photo in the comment box. Here there is another example. So this is also an example for you, and actually these are very common, and you will find in boards or in colleges these type of exercises, these types of questions comes frequently. So therefore you are requested to exercise a lot, and you practice a lot, and I think practice will make you perfect. So dear students, this is all for today on right form of verb, and I think you will follow the rules of hygiene and you will stay safe and sound. Thank you. See you in the next class.